During the Nintendo DS era, there were a plethora of games that were released in Japan and the West. Examples include Harvest Moon DS, Harvest Moon DS Sunshine Islands, Harvest Moon DS A Tale of Two Towns, and Harvest Moon DS Grand Bazaar. All of those titles are remembered fondly by many fans for one reason or another, even if some were a bit more divisive than others. Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar is a game that aims to deliver the experience of Harvest Moon Grand Bazaar in a new modern format. This is a title that has been highly anticipated, especially from the many trailers that the publisher has done over the last couple of months. But does this game hold up to its DS counterpart, or should you just not bother with it? Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar begins its story with you, the player. After grabbing a flyer posted to a bulletin board, you learn about how a quaint little town is looking for a new farmer to tend to the farm there. Looking for a way to escape the hectic city hustle, you pack your bags and immediately leap at the chance to start your brand new life. There, you meet the mayor of Zephyrtown, Felix. This town, adorned with its beautiful windmills, was once known for its bustling bazaar, attracting many visitors from both near and far to browse the various wares they had on display. Unfortunately though, after the last farmer had left, the bazaar has long since fallen into decay, and now it feels like a shadow of its former self. However, Felix is confident that you have the power to help change all of this and bring back the bazaar to its full glory once more. This is a story that has a pretty simple premise, and honestly, it's par for the course when it comes to the games of the series. Personally, I really enjoyed this premise because it's simple enough to understand, while also giving the player a nice goal to work towards. True to its namesake, this game is all about the bazaar. Every Saturday, you can set up your own stall and sell your items to any potential customers who are walking around the area. There are two shifts to the bazaar. The first is the morning shift from 10 AM to 1 PM, and the second is the afternoon shift, which is from 3 PM to 7 PM. You can also use your downtime in between your shifts to visit everyone else's shop around the bazaar, with some items only being sold during this specific period. Now, this is practically the only good way of making money in Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, because your farm is not equipped with a shipping bin. While it is possible for you to sell certain items to the general shop in town outside the bazaar days, it's not exactly recommended to do so. While early on there isn't a significant change in the amount of money you get from either method, items sold aren't counted towards your bazaar rank, which is sort of the game's main objective. Therefore, it is much better if you wait until the next bazaar day to sell all those items. Furthermore, every month, the mayor will send you a list of the market's trending items, which will net a slightly higher price when sold, and will also be more likely to catch customers' attention. This creates a nice cycle of strategizing in the game, especially early on. I tell you, I was literally brainstorming all sorts of calculations, eagerly awaiting for the next in-game Saturday to make it big at the bazaar. Something I noticed is that these market trends are different each time. I had to start my own save file because I wanted to change my farm name and my birthday, and on save file 1, the trending items were ores and fish. These got changed to perfumes and green-colored recipes on save file 2. This means that everyone's trends with the bazaar are randomly generated, which makes it sort of unique to each player. I mean, I'm sure there's probably just a pool that the game is picking from at random, but this at least doesn't make the game predictable, and that just adds to the experience. Of course, there's more to Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar than the farming aspect. Zephyrtown is home to all sorts of unique faces for you to interact with, and once per day, you can give out gifts and talk to them. As you do, you'll steadily grow your bond with them, and this will trigger special cutscenes where you start to know more about that character in particular. An important aspect of this are the requests that will be given to you. Upon reaching a certain threshold, a lock is placed on the heart indicator, preventing your bond from increasing any further. Afterward, the villager will give you a request, where you must give them the items they desire, such as food, crops, or even materials. By doing so, you'll obtain a staggering amount of bond points. For instance, I have barely even talked to Lloyd, but after I've done his tutorial quest to give him some pieces of ore, my relationship with him immediately climbed to the next tier. Unlike its DS counterpart, this remake allows you to romance whoever your heart desires, regardless of their gender. This is a trend that's been happening for a while, and I'm glad that Marvelous is continuing with it. Personally, I went with Gabriel, the town's artist, because of his personality and character design. It was love at first sight. Although I do feel they could have just done something better for the indicator. You see, regardless of whether the character you're speaking to can be romanced or not, they're both depicted with the heart that sits to the left of their name. The only difference is that villagers have a fixed color, and romantic partners have a heart that changes from white all the way to red. It would have been nice if the villagers had a different icon, so that the player can quickly glance at it and go, oh, I can't romance this person, okay. It is admittedly a minor gripe, but one that is worth noting, since I can see people getting very frustrated when finding this out. Similar to when it was found out that you couldn't romance Tsubame and Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. I've already said this during my preview, but it bears repeating once again. For the first time ever in the series' history, Marvelous has invested into proper voice acting for the game. Every single villager you meet has a voice actor in both English and Japanese, which you can change from the title screen. Several cutscenes feature full voiceover, unlike the partial one we've been having with the series thus far. And the voiceover is so good, I think I might cry. The amount of immersion the voice acting adds to the experience is something that cannot be overstated. Every single event had me immersed from beginning to end, and I loved each one of them. This is the kind of thing that I have high hopes that Marvelous continues to do in the future. Not just that, but we've also had the glorious 2D portrait sprites return in full form, alongside the vastly improved 3D models. Compared to their DS counterparts, a good majority of characters' names had some alterations made to them. For instance, on the DS, June was called Antoinette, whereas Gabriel went by Angelo. I can't say I'm terribly surprised by this. You see, after Xseed took over the series' localization, they elected to simply call these characters by different names from the original translation. This was allegedly done for copyright reasons, but I must admit that I could not find any specifics, even after combing through their old localization blogs from back in the day. Still, I don't have any particular issue with their choice of names. Perhaps the only thing that slightly bothered me was the performance. When I sat down to record some footage of the game, I had my Nintendo Switch 2 docked, which meant the game needed to be outputting in 4K. And I definitely noticed some hitches and stutters, but as soon as I swapped back to handheld mode, these slight hiccups in performance disappeared almost completely. In fact, the game also seems to be completely optimized around the fact that you'll mostly play this in handheld mode. The text boxes have a legible font that is quite big and easy to make out from a distance. You also have the option to play the entire game with Japanese text, with support for furigana characters to help you read the kanji of the character's dialogue. To me, Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar is much more than just a simple remaster of the original on Nintendo DS. It checks all the boxes of what I wanted from the series, and even provides some extra details, such as the full voice acting. The presentation and style are completely different from the DS, and it manages to bring out what I can only describe as the best Story of Seasons experience I've ever had so far. I had a lot of fun with the remake, spending hours upon hours. Honestly, if future remakes of other Story of Seasons games are just as good as this one, it makes me even more excited to see what they've got planned for their next big mainline game. But for now, Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar is, and pardon the overused word, a must-play title for both newbies and veterans. Final Weapon is giving Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Marvelous provided Final Weapon with a Nintendo Switch 2 review code of Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar for review purposes.